Now, I'm not here to declare war on water. Far from it. Water is sacred. But the way we drink it, that's where things get a little sticky, or bloated, or oddly dizzy. Stick around. These 7 small lessons might sound ordinary, but they hold surprising power, especially number 4. You'll never look your dusty old bedside water bottle the same way again. Hint, it might be stealing your energy and joy more than you realize. So breathe deep, pour yourself something warm, and if you'd like to help us reach 1,000 subscribers, tap that like button and subscribe. Help us keep making gentle, wise videos for gentle, wise people like you. Now, let's begin. Mistake number 1, using demineralized water without replenishment. Here's something that surprises a lot of people, especially those who've made health a lifelong priority. Sometimes, even clean water can leave you undernourished. That sounds strange, doesn't it? You've been told to filter your water, purify it, get rid of the bad stuff. And yes, we absolutely want to avoid harmful contaminants, heavy metals, and pollutants, especially as we age. But in that pursuit of purity, many older adults end up drinking water that's too empty, stripped of the very minerals your body needs to use it properly. Let's talk about this. It's water that's been filtered, distilled, or purified so thoroughly that natural minerals like magnesium, calcium, potassium, and sodium are removed. You'll find this in reverse osmosis systems, common in homes, distilled bottled water, some rainwater catchment systems. It's clean, yes, but it's also nutritionally hollow. And here's the issue. Water doesn't just hydrate you by filling your stomach. It hydrates you by moving into your cells. And it can't do that without the help of electrolytes and trace minerals. As we age, our electrolyte balance becomes more delicate. Kidney function naturally slows. Medications like diuretics or blood pressure meds can deplete essential minerals. So when you drink water with no minerals, and especially when you drink a lot of it, it can actually start to pull minerals out of your system to create balance. That's called leaching. The result? Fatigue, muscle cramps, brain fog, irregular heartbeat, or just a general sense that something feels off. Let me tell you about Joyce. Joyce is 69, lives in the desert Southwest, and prides herself on staying hydrated. She installed a high-end reverse osmosis system in her kitchen and started drinking half a gallon of water each day. Best decision I ever made, she told me, at first. But over time, she noticed her legs cramping at night. Her memory got foggier. Her energy dipped. Blood work showed low magnesium and sodium levels. Her doctor asked, "Are you drinking enough water?" "Oh yes," she said, "more than ever." But that was part of the problem. She was drinking clean water, but not complete water. Once she began adding back minerals through a pinch of sea salt, a squeeze of lemon, and occasionally supplementing with trace minerals, her symptoms began to ease. Within a few weeks, the cramps disappeared. Her clarity returned. She didn't feel like she was running on empty anymore. You don't need to go buy expensive mineral drinks. Nature already gave us everything we need. Pinch of high-quality sea salt, Celtic, Himalayan, in your morning water. Squeeze of lemon or lime, rich in electrolytes. Cucumber slices, mint or ginger for taste and trace nutrients. Mineral drops, optional but available at health stores. And remember, don't just focus on how much water you drink. Pay attention to what's in it. In many Buddhist monasteries, monks begin the day with warm water infused with herbs, minerals, or a simple broth. It's not just hydration, it's nourishment. A reminder that your body is not a machine to be refilled, but a temple to be cared for. Hydration should feel soothing, sustaining, sacred. So tomorrow morning, before you drink that tall glass of purified water, pause. Ask, does this water give me life or just make me pee? Is it nourishing or just passing through? Give your body what it's really asking for, not just volume, but value. Mistake number 2. Drinking water before sitting up and grounding the body. You know, there's something beautiful about waking up slowly. That quiet moment before the world starts talking, the soft creak of your bones, the warmth of the sheets, the sound of birds, if you're lucky enough to hear them. But in this age of optimization and checklists, we've been taught to launch into the day like we're racing a stopwatch. Drink your water, take your pills, stretch, go walk. It's a rush. And for a lot of seniors, one of the first things they reach for, before their feet have even touched the ground, is a glass or bottle of water sitting on the nightstand. Now don't get me wrong, hydration is important. In fact, it's critical. But how you drink your water in those first few minutes matters more than most people realize. Because drinking water while you're still lying down or slouched in bed, that's not helping your body. That's confusing it. Let me tell you about Henry, a 74-year-old jazz pianist from Chicago. He told me over tea one afternoon, I used to keep a bottle by my bed, right there on the nightstand. Every morning I'd roll over, take a few gulps, and call it a good start. I was proud of it. But over time, Henry started feeling lightheaded in the mornings. Sometimes his stomach felt unsettled. Once he even coughed so hard he nearly dropped his water. His doctor couldn't find anything wrong. But a physical therapist friend asked him one question that changed everything. Do you drink water before you sit up? That simple detail? That was it. When you're still lying down, your blood pressure is lower. Your digestive system hasn't fully woken up. Your throat, lungs, and esophagus are still in a relaxed, horizontal state. And when you drink water before sitting up, it can create a domino effect, causing dizziness or head rushes, minor choking or coughing, poor absorption, even nausea or indigestion. For older adults whose bodies already take a bit longer to adjust in the morning, this quick, automatic sip can be too much too soon. So what did Henry do? He made a tiny change. Now he starts his morning by sitting up slowly. He lets his feet dangle off the side of the bed for a moment. He takes 3 deep breaths. He gently massages his hands and ankles before standing. Then, and only then, he picks up his water, takes a small sip, and smiles. I treat it like a ritual now, he said. Not a chore, it feels like a blessing. And that's exactly it. We've been conditioned to think of water like it's a task to check off. Drink water. But water is life. It's sacred, especially in the morning. It's your first act of nourishment, the first offering to a body that's been healing and repairing all night. From a Buddhist lens, we might say, when you rise from sleep, you are reborn into a new day. And the first thing you offer your body should be given with presence. So tomorrow morning, instead of reaching for your bottle before you've even opened your eyes, try something different. Sit up slowly. Let your body settle. Place your feet on the floor. Take a deep breath. Then, with calm and awareness, drink your water. It doesn't have to be a ceremony, but it should feel intentional. Because your body isn't a machine. It's a companion, a dear old friend who's walked you through decades of joy and sorrow. And before you ask it to digest, balance, or move, it deserves a moment of kindness. So drink your water, but give your body a proper hello first. Mistake number 3, drinking water in a rush or while anxious. You know what's become almost normal in modern life? Waking up already behind. Even for older adults, those who are retired, semi-retired, or living at a slower pace, there's often a quiet panic under the surface. Appointments, medications, aches, bills, family drama, maybe even grief. It all hums like a background noise. And without even noticing it, we carry that noise right into our first drink of water. It happens like this. You wake up, your mouth feels dry, and without thinking, you reach for your water bottle and chug it. Not because you're enjoying it, not because you're listening to your body, but because it's on your to-do list. Drink water equals healthy. Done. But that rushed gulp, done while your nervous system is still jittery or half asleep, isn't as helpful as you think. In fact, for many older adults, drinking water in a state of anxiety or urgency can actually disrupt digestion, mood, and blood pressure regulation. Let me explain. When we drink water in a calm state, when our breath is slow and our posture is steady, the body activates what's known as the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the rest and digest system. It tells your gut, you're safe now, time to absorb, time to receive. But when we drink in a rush, our sympathetic nervous system is still in charge, the fight or flight mode. That's when your stomach tenses, your heart races a little, and your body prepares for action, not digestion. And what happens next? Bloating, lightheadedness, nausea, a vague sense of unease that sticks with you. Now here's the catch. Most people don't connect these symptoms with how they drank their water. They blame aging, or their medication, or the weather. But very often, the real issue isn't what they drank, it's how they drank it. Let me share the story of Walter. Walter is 72, a retired football coach with a booming voice and a heart of gold. For years, he woke up at 5:30 sharp, downed a bottle of water in 10 seconds, and jumped into his day. Gotta stay sharp, he'd say. But lately, he started feeling dizzy in the mornings. A kind of fuzzy heaviness in his head. His balance was off. He even started worrying it might be something serious. Doctors ran tests, nothing alarming. But one day his granddaughter, who had just started yoga teacher training, said, "Papa, do you even breathe before you drink?" He laughed. "What are you talking about?" She explained that the way we breathe and move before we drink matters just as much as the water itself. She taught him to sit up straight, close his eyes for a few seconds, take 3 slow breaths and then sip, not gulp, his morning water. And guess what? Within a few days, the dizziness eased, the fuzziness lifted. His mornings became peaceful. Now he calls it his morning huddle with himself. No whistle needed. See, for so many years, Walter had trained others to prepare for the game. But he never thought of preparing himself for the day with the same kind of care. And that's what this is really about. Drinking water is not just a physical act, it's also an emotional one. It's the first way you say yes to life each day. And if you do it in a panic, your body hears that panic. If you do it with calm, your body responds with calm. From a Buddhist perspective, we might say, the way you begin anything is the way you continue everything. So here's what you can try tomorrow. Don't drink your water right away. Sit up, breathe, smile, even just a little. Then sip your water slowly, like it's a conversation, not a task. Let each sip be an act of kindness toward your body, a signal that you're here, you're awake, and you're not in a rush, because healing doesn't happen in a hurry, and neither does a good day. Mistake number 4, reusing plastic or stale containers with old energy. Let's talk about something almost everyone does, but rarely thinks about. You've got that plastic water bottle on your nightstand. Maybe it's been there for days. Maybe you rinse it out once in a while. It's convenient, it's within reach, it makes you feel like you're on top of your hydration game. But here's a hard truth that a lot of older adults never hear. That old plastic bottle might be doing more harm than good. And not just because of chemicals, not just because of BPA or microplastics, but because on a deeper level, you're starting your day with something stale, physically and energetically. Let me break this down for you. Most plastic bottles, especially if reused over and over, begin to break down, and when exposed to warmth, like the cozy heat of your bedroom overnight, they can leach chemicals into the water, even if they're labeled BPA-free. These aren't massive, dramatic poisonings, but they're tiny disruptions to your body's already delicate systems. Hormonal imbalances, fatigue, headaches, foggy thinking, digestive issues. And for seniors, who may already be dealing with medications, sensitive digestion, or shifts in blood sugar, these little disruptions add up over time. Now, let me tell you about Stanley. Stanley is 78, former high school science teacher. Meticulous, logical, sharp. He told me, "I've always stayed hydrated. I drink water first thing every morning." But he had one nagging issue. He kept waking up tired. Not groggy, tired. He couldn't figure it out. His blood pressure was fine, He wasn't depressed, he was doing everything right. Until one day his nutritionist asked, "What do you drink from in the morning?" He shrugged. "Same bottle I've used for months, just refill it each night." She paused. "Is it plastic?" He nodded. "Is it clean?" He hesitated. Turns out he was refilling the same plastic bottle every day and leaving it on his nightstand, right beside a reading lamp that stayed on for hours each night. What he thought was a smart habit was slowly introducing heat-warped plastics and microbial buildup into his system. Once he switched to a simple glass carafe with a fresh pour each morning, everything changed. 2 weeks later, Stanley said, "I feel clearer. I didn't even know I was feeling foggy before." Now here's where we go a little deeper. In Buddhist tradition, it's said that objects carry intention. If you reuse something mindlessly, especially something meant to nourish you, it carries the stale energy of yesterday, or the day before that, or the week before that. When you drink from a dusty bottle, what are you really telling your body? Are you saying, "I care for you"? Or are you saying, "This'll do"? Elders often speak of wanting to feel more alive, more connected. But aliveness starts with how you nourish yourself. And that includes the vessel you choose. So here's a suggestion. Ditch the old plastic. Choose a beautiful glass or ceramic cup, something you actually like to hold. Clean it with care. Set it out at night with fresh water. Maybe even whisper a little blessing to it. Not because you're superstitious, because you're worth the intention. Because when you begin your day with something clean, clear, and deliberate, your whole system feels it. Not just your stomach, but your spirit. Reusing plastic bottles may seem harmless, but for the aging body and sensitive heart, it can quietly erode both health and dignity. Choose better vessels, fresh water, clean containers, and treat that first sip like a quiet toast to your well-being. Because you deserve a new start every morning, not leftovers from yesterday. Mistake number 5. Drinking ice-cold water on a warming body. Let me ask you something. Have you ever jumped into a cold shower first thing in the morning and felt your whole body tense up? That gasp, that rush, that little shock to your system? Now imagine doing that same thing, but inside your body. Because that's exactly what happens when you pour ice-cold water into your stomach first thing in the morning, especially if you're over 60. It might have felt invigorating when you were younger, but now, your body's needs have shifted. And yet, a lot of seniors still keep a bottle of water in the fridge, thinking colder means cleaner, fresher, more refreshing. Maybe it even reminds you of being young again, when everything was fast and strong. But here's the truth. Your body isn't asking for a shock anymore. It's asking for peace. Let's talk science for a moment. While you sleep, your body enters a restorative state. Blood flow slows. Your core temperature drops slightly. Your digestive system goes quiet. Your joints and muscles relax. By morning, your body is gently rising from this deep internal stillness, like a pond warming in the early sunlight. Now picture throwing ice cubes into that pond. That's what cold water does to your digestive system. It tightens muscles, constricts blood vessels, and can even trigger a stress response in your nervous system, especially in older adults with slower circulatory adaptation. The result? Stomach cramps, sluggish digestion, cold hands and feet, headaches or brain fog, an overall feeling of being off for hours. Let me introduce you to Eleanor. She's 76, lives in Maine, and still volunteers at the local library. She used to start every morning with a tall glass of cold water straight from the fridge. "Wakes me up," she used to say, smiling. But over time, she started noticing little signs. Her fingers would stay cold until lunchtime. Her stomach felt tight and uncomfortable after drinking. Some days, she even felt a little dizzy after her first sip. Her doctor ran tests, nothing out of the ordinary. But it was her acupuncturist who connected the dots. "Try warm water," they said, "just for a week." So she did. She left her glass out overnight. Sometimes she added a slice of lemon. Nothing drastic, And almost immediately she noticed the difference. Her mornings softened, no more stomach cramps. Her energy didn't spike and crash, it flowed. She told me, it felt like my body stopped fighting me. And that's the key. Aging isn't a battle. It's a conversation. And if your body could talk, it might whisper, please, don't freeze me first thing in the morning. In traditional Chinese medicine, they teach that digestion is like a fire. You don't throw ice on a campfire when you're trying to cook breakfast. You feed it gently. Warm broth, soft tea, room temperature water. It's not just philosophy, it's physiology. So what can you do? Simple. Keep your morning water at room temperature or slightly warm. Avoid ice water until later in the day, if at all. Treat your digestion like something to gently awaken, not jolt. If you enjoy flavor, you can even infuse your water with herbs or citrus the night before. Lemon, mint, ginger. These small touches not only support digestion, they transform hydration into a sensory experience. From a mindfulness perspective, drinking warm water first thing becomes more than a habit. It becomes a way of saying, I honor this body. I welcome this day, I enter gently. Because here's the thing. After 60, the goal isn't to wake up and perform. The goal is to wake up and feel well. So tomorrow, skip the icy jolt. Pour yourself something warmer. Something that meets your body where it is, not where it used to be. And see how much better your whole day feels when your body doesn't have to recover from its first sip. Mistake 6. Taking water and medications before the heart is ready. There's a moment in every senior's morning that tends to feel automatic. You wake up, you reach for your pills. Maybe with one eye still half closed, you grab your water and swallow them down, hoping to get it over with. It's habit, it's routine, it's survival. But here's the thing no one really teaches us. Just because a habit is routine doesn't mean it's wise. Many older adults take their medications too early, too fast, and with too much water, or not enough. Sometimes on an empty stomach, sometimes while still lying in bed. And then they wonder why the nausea kicks in, or why they feel off for the rest of the morning. It's not the meds that are always to blame. Sometimes it's the timing. Sometimes it's the state of the body. And sometimes it's the rush to just get it done. Let me tell you about Margaret. She's 80, a retired librarian and probably more organized than anyone I know. She had her pill schedule down to the minute. Thyroid meds at 6:30, multivitamin at 8, blood pressure pill with breakfast. Clockwork. But out of nowhere, she began to feel queasy every morning. Nothing else had changed. Same foods, same medications, same routine. Her doctor ran labs. Everything looked normal, but still the nausea lingered. Finally, someone asked the right question. Margaret, are you drinking a full glass of water right after taking your pills? Oh yes, she said. I've always done that. It's good to flush them down, right? Yes and no. See, many medications are best absorbed with a little water, not a flood. Especially thyroid medications or anything that requires an empty stomach. Drinking too much water too fast can dilute stomach acid needed for proper absorption, create bloating or mild heartburn, trigger the vagus nerve leading to dizziness or nausea, shock the stomach before it's ready to digest. For Margaret, the solution wasn't complex. It was simple. She took her thyroid medication with just a few sips of room temperature water. She waited 30 to 45 minutes before eating breakfast. She drank the rest of her water slowly, seated upright, and relaxed. That was it. No new meds, no diet overhaul, just gentleness and patience. Her nausea disappeared, her energy returned, and most importantly, she felt in control again. As we age, our stomach lining becomes more sensitive. Digestion slows. Our kidneys and liver, already working hard to process medications, don't always appreciate being hit with a tsunami of cold water before they've warmed up. And here's something you might not know. Postural changes affect absorption. If you take your meds while slouched in bed or lying back, the pill might not move down properly. It can linger, irritate your esophagus, or even dissolve in the wrong place. And yes, some medications interact with food, while others require food. That small detail? It can mean the difference between smooth absorption and hours of discomfort. Let's reimagine how we take our medications, not as a chore, but as a ritual of care. Here's a new rhythm you can try. 1. Sit upright. Take a few deep breaths. 2. Take your medication with just enough water to comfortably swallow. 3. Wait a few minutes. Don't immediately guzzle more or eat a big meal. 4. Listen to your body. Let it adjust. Give it space to receive. If your doctor recommends food with your pills, make it light and gentle. Fruit, oats, toast with nut butter. Nothing too harsh. Your stomach is still waking up too. From a Buddhist view, even small acts carry meaning. Swallowing a pill is not just an obligation, it's a form of self-compassion. The water you drink with it, that's your body's first blessing of the day. So treat it like a sacred offering, not rushed, not anxious, just present, because your heart deserves a peaceful beginning, and so does your medicine. Mistake number 7, focusing only on quantity, not quality of water. Let me ask you something you might not have considered. What kind of water are you actually drinking? For most older adults, the focus is on how much water they drink in a day. Doctors say, stay hydrated. Articles say, 8 glasses a day. Family members check in, did you drink your water today? But here's the truth, almost no one talks about. If the quality of your water is poor, the quantity doesn't matter nearly as much. In fact, chugging large amounts of water that your body doesn't truly absorb can leave you just as tired, foggy, or dehydrated as not drinking enough. There's a kind of pressure in modern health advice to hit your water goals. People walk around with giant gallon jugs, tracking ounces like they're training for a marathon. But for seniors, the picture is more nuanced. The aging body doesn't process fluids the same way it used to. Kidney function changes. Hormonal regulation of thirst can become less sensitive. Some people don't feel thirsty even when they're dehydrated, while others drink constantly yet still feel sluggish. So what do? We drink more and more and more. But if your water is low quality, chemically treated, over-purified, demineralized, or stored improperly, you're not truly hydrating. You're just flushing. Let's not forget, more isn't always better. Sometimes more is just more. Good water isn't about expensive brands or trendy bottles. It's about bioavailability, how well your body can absorb and use it. Water that actually enters your cells, nourishes your organs, and supports digestion. Here are a few markers of high-quality hydration. Freshness. Water that's been sitting out for days or stored in plastic loses energy and can absorb airborne toxins. Mineral content. Your water should have some trace minerals, electrolytes, to help your body absorb and hold on to it. Temperature. Slightly warm or room temperature water is gentler on the digestive system, especially first thing in the morning. Intention. This might sound strange, but how you approach your water matters. Water received with calm presence is processed more smoothly. Think of it like a meal, eaten in a rush. It's hard to digest. Harold is 75, and he's what you might call an overachiever. Even in retirement, he kept a strict hydration log, drank 100 ounces of water a day, and followed every guideline he could find online. And yet, he constantly felt drained. His urine was clear, which he thought was a good sign, but his skin was dry, his digestion was off. His energy dipped by mid-morning every single day. After a visit to a functional medicine doctor, he learned something surprising. He was overhydrating with low-quality water, purified, cold, and totally demineralized. His body wasn't absorbing it, it was pushing it through. The fix? Simple, mindful changes. Warmed water in the morning, a pinch of mineral salt once a day, switching to glass storage, adding lemon slices to his afternoon water. Within 2 weeks, Harold's digestion improved, his energy leveled out, and for the first time in months, he stopped waking up tired. It wasn't about more water, he told me. It was about better water. In Buddhist practice, monks are trained to drink water mindfully, not just for their health, but to remind themselves that each drop is precious. Water is life. It deserves our attention. So tomorrow morning, instead of counting ounces, ask yourself, is this water alive? Does it nourish me or just pass through? Can I drink less but better? When we focus on quality over quantity, we hydrate not just the body, but the spirit too. So here we are, friend, full circle, with our teacups empty and our hearts just a little fuller. Who knew a simple glass of water could be such a wise teacher? That temperature, timing, posture, even the vessel itself, all carry hidden messages about how we care for ourselves. Maybe what matters most isn't just that you drink water, but how. Slowly, kindly, with presence. Because the body you wake up in now, it's not your 40-year-old self, it's your elder self, wiser, softer, and far more deserving of grace. Let's not forget, we didn't just talk about hydration today. We talked about dignity, about starting the day not with a gulp of urgency, but with a sip of intention. If one of these lessons spoke to you, especially the one about that tired old plastic bottle stealing your morning joy, leave a comment. Share it with someone who might still be chugging in the dark. And if you'd like more slow, soulful conversations like this, go ahead and subscribe. Let's grow this little circle of elder wisdom together. One breath, one cup, one morning at a time. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. You've earned it.